I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for being with me today. So, share with everybody, we'll start with telling us a little bit about yourself. So, whatever you're comfortable with, where you live, your name, what you do, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, my name is Anouk Bindels, and I live in the Netherlands, in the East, and I'm 57 years old. I am in this work with Dr.Joe for now about 7.5 years. I started in 2011, and everybody can read my story in Becoming Supernatural, chapter 1. It's about Anna. You know, my story is Anna Willem's story, and everybody can read the full story from where I was when I started and where I'm now. In the meantime, I became also a trainer in 2016, and I'm doing this work with a lot of love and training and coaching people all over the world. And I'm also a team leader, and I'm present at the events and guiding people through the process and helping them out with the week-long advance and the challenges and the things that come up in the teachings. And yeah, right now I'm actually very good. I'm in a very good state with my health, mentally and emotionally. And I had my challenges also after I got cured, because I had what we call the voodoo curse in 2011. And I decided after I got treated not to go to the regular path anymore, but search for complementary therapies. And that's how I came to know the work from Dr. Joe. And I saw it evolving, I saw it growing, and I saw it getting more and more organized. And now I've watched and witnessed a lot of transformation and healing from people all over the world. That is exactly what Dr. Joe is saying in his book, Becoming Supernatural. Common people are doing the uncommon. And I think it's good because we get now, as common people, all the information about brain, about the science of healing in a different way. And I think it's good we have this information so that we can become more proactive in our own healing process. And that's why I now live for, to do that and guide people.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. So I will put a link on this video to the book so people can check out that in detail. So maybe give us a quickened version of what you went through back in 2011, and where you are with that now physically.
Yeah, you see, like, first of all, I take you back to 2007, because that's where I think my disease, don't think I know my disease set off. And that was that my husband committed suicide, and it was a sudden death. It was for me very traumatic because he didn't leave a note. He just went out of the house. He just left, and you know, he didn't announce anything. And I was left with my 3 kids, and I was shocked. And I know now, with the knowledge I got from all this work, that I went into a survival state. And actually my body, brain, and everything became toxic due to the stress I started living in. It was a chronic stress situation. And actually this chronic stress situation set off lots of, first of all, an immune reaction in my nerve system. Then I got treated with lots of medication, corticosteroids, antibiotics, because of a very heavy infection I gathered in the hospital, you know, after a lumbar puncture. I got a really bad infection, which could have cost me even my life, more than what I was suffering of that time. And then they started treating me for a few years. And in the meantime, my immune system collapsed totally. And nothing changed actually on the mental and emotional level, because I was still in the same state as in 2007. And when I take you now to January 2011, before that, my whole mucous membrane started ulcerating, and ulceration started coming up in my mouth, in my esophagus, in my anus, my vagina, everywhere where was some mucous membrane problems starting. And I finally ended up with esophagus cancer. And I got treated with the regular medication, because at that time I was visiting 5 disciplines.
Okay,
I was
that's what I was going to ask.
still under treatment of neurology because of the immune reaction, the neuritis on my immune system, and the infection I had after the lumbar puncture. I was with a psychiatrist because in the meantime I also got diagnosis depression, so I was taking amitriptyline. I was with a dermatologist and a mouth specialist for all this. And then I ended up with internal and endocrinology because of all the things that were going on. I developed diabetes too. And I gained lots of weight. That's the result of prednisone, I know now. And all this chronic diseases kept me in this state in which I also could not really change my mental and emotional state. And actually nobody was telling me also that, Anouk, this might be
An
because you are, exactly, because your internal state is like this. And in January, I got the diagnosis, and then in end of February, beginning of March, Dr.Joe Dispenza was in a lecture in the Netherlands. And a friend of mine, she had seen me going down the drain, and also with the chemo I had in the meantime. And then she said to me, why don't you come and see if this is something for you, you know, because I was talking to her and telling her, I need to do something else. I don't know what to do anymore. I really prayed in the time for some guidance of, give me some help, please, because I had the feeling, being also a psychologist, that I was on the wrong track, but I had no tools or whatever information.
No point of reference for
no
anything
point,
else.
exactly, no point of reference for where to go with it, you know. And then I went to this lecture, and it was the progressive level 1. And if you liked the lecture, you could also stay the whole weekend. And the lecture was, you know, was really so profound. And what Dr. Joe was talking about was like exactly that. Hey, if you want to change something, you have to start thinking greater than your environment, your time, your body, and all the things that you're in right now. And I was like, where am I in right now? You know, okay, this is my state. But how do I get greater than that? And what are the tools? What are the models that he uses? I got really interested. So I stayed the weekend and I did my weekend there. And that was the beginning of many weekends.
Yeah, a long road of weekends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how long did it take you to kind of get to the point where you could start seeing progress in what you were doing?
You see, I decided after that weekend that I would really start the meditations, because we were introduced to the blessing of the energy centers, and I really loved that meditation. And I started doing that one twice a day. And breaking the habit of being yourself, or my thoughts, because I realized in that weekend that I was holding on to a lot of grief thoughts, actually still, which it was 4 years ago, but still I was like, he shouldn't have left me with the kids.
Sure.
He shouldn't have done this without saying goodbye, you know, and leaving me in this mess. And, you know, there was a lot of thinking patterns, feeling patterns, and that was keeping, of course, my emotional state going. So I decided to do breaking the habit of being yourself for changing these thought patterns, which was very difficult in the beginning, because I mean, I conditioned my body to a certain mindset, and it was very difficult to get out of that mindset. But I sat with it. I heard every time when I went to a weekend, which I started seeing where are all these progressives, and Joe was traveling a lot in Europe in that time. So I decided to go to a few progressives that year. And actually the whole year, 2011, I slowly saw myself getting better emotionally and mentally, but physically nothing changed.
Gotcha.
And then I decided he came to Europe in December, January, and then he said that there would be a weekend in April, May in New York where he would do a 4-day, a longer days, which is actually the beginning of the advanced follow-up teachings. And that was in 2012 in New York. And during that workshop, that was, I mean, the third day I could really let go of all the emotions. And when he said, you have to be a nobody and no thing and no time, you know, I felt like I was floating into something bigger. And I got a huge relief. And actually after that, I also got a vision, and I saw myself really healthy and standing on some kind of stage and talking about this and about healing, and which I could not have imagined. You know, it was just something that came to me. And then I decided, okay, now I'm going for this feeling. You know, I choose to not get up until I'm really happy, till I feel this again, because it felt so more close to who I am than that what I was living. And of course, the more knowledge you get, the more experience you get with the meditations, the more you can get stronger in your meditations. But from 2012, that was actually 1 year after I started doing the work, there was also change coming in my physical. My nerve system got better. I could start walking again. And all these immune reactions started withdrawing. And then in September 2013, which is again, I kept going. I kept also going to workshops, but in the meantime, I also got people here who were in the work. We built a community. We meditated together also. My friends changed, you know, I got friends in Germany, you know, it was like the whole environment changed.
And were you still doing the other kind of medication at the same time?
I reduced all that. You know, like the corticosteroids were reduced. My antibiotics already had stopped. In 2012, I also started decreasing the antidepressive because I could feel that the medication and meditation helped me out of the states. So then I did, in the meantime, I also did an immune therapy, which was offered to me by a clinic. And so I did an immune cell therapy, which was really good. And together with the meditations, I always kept going for my future health. And you saw it improving. In 1 year, from May 2012, till September 2013, it all improved. And then in 2013, I got my last gastroscopy, and there was no tumor left anymore. Yeah.
So what were your doctors saying? Were they surprised at the results? Were they supportive? Were they?
No, they were not supportive. They called me stupid and naive. They called me ignorant because I was ignoring radiation. I was ignoring because I stopped after the second chemo. And, you know, I didn't do it fully. I left because I felt my heart started racing at that time. And I know now why it started racing, because they gave me Avastin. And Avastin is a substance which they give with a certain chemo treatment, because the tumor then cannot make new blood vessels. But it destroyed some of my heart vessels, which I got really heart problems from it. And which, of course, was for me then no choice anymore. Once I felt that my heart was exploding and giving up, after that I decided, wow, I should stop this. This is going to kill me instead of curing me.
Right. Isn't that so crazy? Yeah. Did you have family support in these decisions?
Yes, I had my mother, which was very close to me, and I had my kids, but of course they were young. They were at that time 13 and 14, so they were very young, and my eldest daughter was in her 20s, but you know, they were there anyway. I mean, the love of them, and I had a few very close friends who also were with me in this work and are with me in this work. And, you know, at that time they were there to support me. And which was very small group, but I think, you know, in that time I couldn't handle also bigger groups of people, you know, because for me, this was my process I had to do. It was like I was in a cocoon and I need to, get reborn again,
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
did you have a basis for meditation or spirituality before?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I had, but that was in my 20s, and this was in my 50s. When I was in my 20s, I grew up in the 70s, and we had a huge Osho community in the
Okay.
Netherlands. So I was a little, for 1 or 2 years, involved in that community and meditated and did, but I left all that because I got trained as a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist, so I left all that to go into the clinical field, and I was trained differently, and I left all that. So I mean, it's strange that you leave something so
Yeah.
profound, which
Yeah.
in my 20s, when I was studying and I was going to these meditation centers, I loved it, you
Mm.
know
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
left it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And it's okay,
It's
this is
okay.
what happened.
It's your path. It's your
Yes.
journey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, maybe share with us now where you're at physically as well as emotionally, because as we know, that's where it starts with. It's been, 6 years since
Yeah.
2012. So, kind of share with us what you've done in the last 6 years and where you're at now.
Yeah. What I've done in the last 6 years is mainly this work. I changed again what I said, I'm reborn. I changed my whole life around. And where I'm now, I'm vital, I'm healthy. I just 2 months ago got a checkup fully again, fully healthy, nothing, happening. And because still this was there. Now I also decided I don't go to them anymore. It's like over for me. I know I'm healthy, I'm fit. Emotionally, I grew into a total different person. I'm feeling very strong and confident. And I know that I have tools to deal with adversities, because I mean they keep coming, right? Life,
Absolutely.
it's not that once you healed yourself of cancer that nothing will happen anymore in your life. I mean, for me, with my family or with my work, things changed. Actually, the clinical world spit me out last summer because they find I'm far away from the clinical field. So my own field, they started fighting me for what I was doing, and I published articles on meditation and health, and they started, like pointing fingers at me that I'm busy with pseudoscience,
Wow.
and that was a huge challenge for me.
Yeah.
And I decided to love the pseudoscience more than the other science, because I know it's the new science. And Dr.Joe has done so much brain scans, so much heart math, telomeres measurements, lots of measurements, which is also science. So, you get challenges.
Yeah.
And my mother's grown old and sick, also that is a challenge. And I now have the tools to deal with my emotional states. I meditate. I do that every day. I never skip. Well, even if I don't get up at 4 o'clock every day, I never skip my meditations.
Yeah.
And it's not that I meditate habitually. I always choose different meditations, because I also saw that meditation can become a habit.
Absolutely.
And I decided to trick myself a little here and wake myself up every time, to do some different things.
Do something different.
Yes, yes. And also different times.
Yes.
It's not that I have to sit at 6 in the morning or at 4. I see whatever moves, but I meditate before I start my day. That has become something I know that I need, so that I can create who I want to be today, as whom I want to be. And
the best part about meditation is it's absolutely free.
Yes.
You're not dependent to go to anyone else to get it.
No.
It's something, as you know, is life-changing, and that you don't need anyone or anything for.
No, I just need a nice, safe place where I can let go totally, and which is warm and safe, and I can have my space, and that's why I do it. And I also meditate before I go to bed, and I don't do that in the bedroom, but really downstairs, and then I go to sleep. And sometimes during the day, when it's possible, I do a short meditation, but depends on how my days go. Since I'm more vital and work fit again, you know, I work more. And I really have to see sometimes that I don't plan my whole day, you know, that I really take out my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you touched on the work world kind of spit you out. So in going through all this, were you a psychologist going through this? And did you start kind of applying some of these tools to your work? And is that what they didn't like beyond the publishing articles?
Yeah. You know, because I had a small clinic with a few therapists where we used to work under the health contracts, you know, from the health insurances. And they do, which is normal, they pay your budgets, yearly budgets. So they sometimes do investigations, which they did at the beginning of this year. And they found a lot of the word meditation, Dr.Joe dispenser, and brain spotting, which is another not legal trauma therapy, which we give, you know. Like it's a legal one, but not in the Netherlands recognized as one that the health insurances protocolaire pay you, you know, it's that. And so they saw all this and they started investigating and they started asking our clients, and all the clients, you know, that came really benefited from everything that we did. But they started talking and withdrawing budgets, and the board then found that I was the one to be blamed for, because I brought in all the Dr.Joe dispenser work. So, yeah, so which was pretty challenging. And
where are you at with that now? What are you doing now?
You see, like I can say now that my husband's suicide is my greatest gift. What I gained in life, you know, where I could grow so much with all the challenges coming up with it. I can say now they set me free, you know, because I'm so happy that I can fully commit 100% now to this work. And I'm training every month. You know, people are asking me, and I'm free, independent from health insurances. I can run my own practice, and I see that I can help people from a different level. So, you know, they actually helped me make the decision.
Absolutely.
which I was on two legs, you know, one still in the safe. And I must say, you know, it was a shock. They froze all my access to my bank accounts and everything. You know, it was nasty. It was war. And they hurt me. And still I can see now, I would never have made that choice myself, because I was so secured financially that was the thing that was keeping me there. And inside, I already felt deep down that I had to leave. You know, it was not the same vibrations anymore. I felt unhappy when I had to drive to my office, you know, and deal with all this stuff. And I would never have made that decision, so they made it for me. So now I say thank you. I feel free. I feel really free. Yeah.
What a beautiful story. We were just having a discussion last night about just that when your heart and your soul speaks to something, your subconscious will make it happen, whether you like the way it happens or not.
Exactly. How it shows up, we never know.
Yes.
And that it shows up is something to look at, right?
Yeah. And maybe share with people who are going through something similar in their life after attending a workshop or having any kind of huge change in their life, and they go home and they have this sort of breakdown or chaos. Share with them, speak to them about, you know, maybe some processes to get through those kind of things.
Yeah, to find, for me, it was to find the middle point, you know, like the hurricane is going on, But in the middle of the hurricane, there's a silent spot, you know, and meditation can help you find that spot. If you really focus on that, then you can find the silence and the stillness and the focusedness on where you want to go, although the hurricane is still going on, you know. But if you can put yourself to sit with it, and also, you know, not fight. I mean, I again had to deal with fear. You know, fear. I thought, oh, I've done a great deal of fear, you know, wow, ha, ha. I'm very spiritual. You know, fear has gone out of my life. But when the financial fear came, you know, it was a different fear, right?
It is.
I had to sit with it again and face it, you know, not run away, but see what fear, what are you trying to tell me? You know, whoa, what a monster you are, you know. How do I get to deal with this one?
Yeah.
Huh? And see what it does to your body, you know, and then sit with the fear and see that if you can find that still point in the meditations and recondition your body to some new thing, it gets silence. It's silence, you know, and then it gets still, and just keep going for where you want to go, you know, and never lose this vision you have, why you in the first place started this work, you know, what you want to gain out of a week advanced, you know, what did you create for yourself. Read, you know, I started reading my journals, you know, and I saw what I wrote down in Sardinia when I was a team leader, and I said, wow, this is actually happening.
Wow.
And don't fight the emotions, don't fight the thought patterns that come along with it. Just observe them and keep your vision of your future and focus and find that still point within this hurricane and chaos going around, you know.
Absolutely.
And talk to people who help you, you know, connect with people. I was so happy to have the support of fellow team leaders or fellow people in this work who kept me straight, you know, when I was in my victim mode, which I, of course, went into financially fearing and facing this fear, you know, and they said, wow, wait a minute, you know, why are you thinking and feeling this way? What are you creating with this? So, okay, you know, like that people bring you back to this center, focus, future self, where you want to be, where you want to go. And yes, it doesn't show up always immediately. Sometimes it does, you know.
Yeah. And I think, you know, as we hear often, just because you're going down this path doesn't mean the challenges stop. They get bigger because you can deal with them better. You have the tools to deal. You're at a higher state of mind. So,
and you recognize them.
Yes.
That's what I noticed now. Oh, I recognize, oh, this is a challenge coming. It's a whole new level.
It is a whole new level. And I will have to say, the people, you know, I was trying to explain to my sister this community of people that I have, and it's such a loving, they hold you accountable, but in such a beautiful, loving way. It's not from an ego, you must do this or you must do that. It's from, okay, let's be your best self. What can you learn from?
Yeah, and very compassionate for where you are at this stage, right? I mean, because we all are there where we are when we start this. And you are every time there where you are, right?
Yes.
Never stops.
Never stops.
As long as you are in this physical form.
The fun never stops, right?
Yeah, but I like when Joe says, you know, I always do this evening meditation, and then he always says, become the alchemist of your own energy. And this is what this work is about, you know, to become your own alchemist of your own energy. And the tools we have are so amazing. I mean, I wish I would have known that when I was 20, you know.
Yes, as we all say. So speak to somebody who is watching right now that may be in a similar circumstance as you were back in 2007. They've had a tragic event happen and maybe they feel alone, they have children. What would you say to a woman like in that sort of similar situation right now that is watching this? What is one tool that you can give her, one piece of advice to kind of make that switch?
I would say come to a workshop and find people who are in this community and start doing this work and read, please read You Are the Placebo, Becoming Supernatural, Breaking the Habit, Evolve Your Brain, you know, and maybe a book which I also really love is Resilience from the Heart from Greg Braden. And you know that you can live keep on living from your heart, that when something like that happens, your heart is broken for a while, but it needs to be mended, you know, and there are tools to mend your heart and brain and body and get this integration back again when everything around you is falling apart, when there's such an existential earthquake, you know, when everything falls away, you can start rebuilding yourself again and gather tools and people around you that help you to recollect and reintegrate yourself again to the person that you want to be and how you want to live your life, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So my last question for you is one that I ask everybody. My motto is love over fear. That's what I try to live in every moment. So when you hear that, Anouk, love over fear, what does that mean to you in your own life?
That I every day return back to my heart and feel that, and don't allow the fear to take over, but let my heart and love guide me through, you know. And that gives coherence in this brain up here and helps us to get this integration of body mind integration, and that gives us the strength to deal with all that is coming. And also the emotion, fear is just an emotion, you know, and it belongs to this body, but we are the only people, and that's really important, to get panic. An animal doesn't get panic because it can't reflect on the fear. It's fear. When the danger is gone, the body goes back to homeostasis. But we, with our thoughts, and that's really thinking patterns, create the panic and nothing else, you know. So that's really important to know, that we are the only creatures that can create panic attacks. Wow. And an animal doesn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there anything else you would like to share with the people watching?
Just love yourself also, you know, for where you are, and don't hate yourself or your circumstances in life, but know that it always can get better. When you make up your mind, it can get better.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. I will put a link to Becoming Supernatural so people can read your story more in depth. And I'm so grateful for you taking time for us today.
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
I feel honored. Thank you.
No, and I'm sure we will see you soon at a workshop.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to be in Brighton, so.
Perfect. So anyone that's going to be in Brighton, they can connect with you.
Exactly. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Anouk. We will talk soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye.